Hello there viewers, and welcome back to another video today here on Gr.3 Motorsport. So today you join us for round 4 of the Medway Racing League. So for those of you guys that don't know what the Medway Racing League is, MRL is basically a league set up late last year, really took off start of this year when we set up a Gr.3 series, really gaining in popularity right now, and yeah, it's a series which I'm heavily involved in, run by a guy called Matt. And then I help him run the series basically. So yeah, really popular league. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. Link down in the description to the Facebook page. Definitely give it a look. So yeah, here we are then in qualifying for round 4 of the series. First round I didn't do the first rounds because I didn't. So yeah, first round that I am doing of the championship, and as we come across the finish line we set a 1 minute 59.336. So yeah, I mean that lap was decent, wasn't great to be honest. It puts me at P5 and well, starting the next lap, so we are nearly in the slipstream of Scott Robson in front. I don't think we're quite within his slipstream, annoyingly. I get the impression we're rather on the borderline. And yeah, coming through the S's here, the never-ending S's section here at Suzuka, the legendary section of corners. What is our split going to be? What's our sector time going to be? We are 1.5 tenths up. Okay, so alright, not too bad then, coming through Dunlop, 1.5 tenths up. Can we continue to improve over the course of the lap? So we're in the Porsche 911 here, as you may be able to see and hear. So in the Porsche 911, and as we go through Degner 1, we get a penalty. We get a penalty. Very annoying that. Yeah, the slightest of cuts through Degner 1 got us a penalty. So yeah, that's this lap over. Thing is, when you get a penalty in qualifying, not only does that penalty get added on to your lap at the end of the lap, but it also invalidates the next lap, so you must not finish the lap with that penalty. Now, by the way, format for MRL is 10-minute qualifying session followed by a 100-mile race, which is quite interesting because that means the race time, let's say, can vary quite significantly. If you're going around a really fast track like Monza, the race takes about 45 minutes. Around a really twisty circuit, you're talking well over an hour, which, let me tell you, can be very physically exhausting. Going around a twisty circuit for more than an hour can yeah, be very knackering. So as you run wide here on this lap, like I say, this lap, we kind of already given up on it anyway. And so yeah, pull over here, serve the penalty, get rid of that penalty, and try and tuck into the slipstream of Adam Tebron here. Now Adam, very quick driver. Thing with Adam though is he can be a little bit inconsistent, can be a bit crash prone and a bit, yeah, can set some superb lap times, but can also then, yeah, have quite a lot of crashes. So following Adam here, we've got what, 1 lap left. We're on our final lap of qualifying. Can we improve? We're down in 6th place here, only 11 people for this race, annoyingly. Yeah, the amount of people in the lobby is not really a representation of the size of the league, because people get split up across multiple lobbies. So I think for this round we should have had 3 lobbies of 16, but ended up having 4 lobbies of 12. So yeah, bit odd. Don't really ask me why, it just happens like that. So coming through this first sector, we are 1.8 tenths up on our personal best lap time from lap 3. Not quite in the slipstream of Adam, annoyingly. I think we dropped off a little bit too much at the start of that lap. We dropped back too much. Going through Degner 1, this time don't get a penalty, fortunately. Hard on the brakes for Degner 2. Coming out Degner 2 on the AstroTurf, not necessarily an issue. Going on the AstroTurf, that can often be the fastest way out of there. On the brakes then for the hairpin, start braking just as the curb ends on the right. Try and get the power down out of this corner. Getting the power down in this Porsche on Supersofts, to be honest, is quite easy. It's very nice in this car. I was practicing in the Supra, and that was a real handful out of that hairpin. But in this Porsche, you just basically plant your foot on the throttle. So yeah, braking just before the 50-meter board for Spoon. Very awkward corner this, very tricky, very easy to clip the AstroTurf on the outside as you're going through the corner and go flying off the track. Coming out of Spoon then, going down the back straight, coming down towards the legendary 130R. What's our split going to be as we exit, as we get to the end, of Sector 3? Our split time, we are 2 tenths up, so not great considering that we're almost a second off pole. We're down in 8th place at the moment as we come into the Casio Triangle for the final time in qualifying. The checker flag is already waving, coming out of the final corner, coming up to the line. What is our lap time going to be? Where is it going to put us on the grid? We are going to go P4. P4, big improvement for that final sector there. We gained, what, 2.5 tenths on our best lap there, so Very good for that final sector, but yeah, not ideal to be honest. Down in 4th place. I didn't do all that much practice to be honest. I wasn't going to race, but then did because my dad was meant to be racing, but then he had to drop out, so I had to jump in with half hour's notice, and yeah, it was all a bit of a mess. Car choice was changing at the last second. I didn't try out the strategy. I spent the whole of the practice basically going, what car should I use? Because like I say, I was using the Supra in practice basically. That lap, this qualifying in the Porsche, that lap that I did there was only about my 6th lap. So yeah, I was kind of learning on the fly here in qualifying, learning how the Porsche goes, because well, the Porsche is not a car which I'm familiar with either. So yeah, qualifying over, we're now down to P5, now down to P6, but we're sinking and this is not going too great here. We're 6th out of 11, and yeah, so as we move ahead to the race, got Adam Tebron then starting on pole position with a superb 1 minute 58.3. You got Dimitar Penkov starting in 2nd, John Hardy starting in 3rd, you got Diman Ivanov starting in P4, and then you got Jake Beatty in front, who's on a controller by the way, so doing very, very well, qualifying 5th on a controller. So yeah, he's starting in P5. Behind, I can hear someone revving the nuts out of their car, which is well, not the best idea to be honest, when this is a fuel-saving race, a race which you do have to stop for fuel. So where are we going to start? Are we going to be in chicane when we start? I think we might just get clear of it as the race begins. Yes, we do, fortunately. If you do start on a corner when the race begins, you are at a massive disadvantage because, well, you can't accelerate properly. Basically, the lights hit start and you can't accelerate because you're in a corner. So yeah, fortunately we're not in that. Up ahead, we've got the pole sitter Adam Tebron, who, well, as you can see in front, makes a little bit of mistakes. So at the very first corner of the race, he loses first and goes down to 3rd. I think he may have clipped the AstroTurf on the outside of that first corner. Very, very tricky corner that. Very easy to do. You've got to sort of half brake as you go through it, and yeah, I always find it a bit odd. Turn 1 here at Suzuka. So going through the S's now, we've already managed to pull a 2-second gap to the car behind, to Martin Jekov behind. I think he very much did start in the chicane and very much suffered for it. So yeah, managed to pull a gap to him. As we move ahead then a couple of laps, unfortunately Adam Tebron, he does make the same mistake again. So as you look up ahead at P3, he clips that AstroTurf and, well, round he goes. So unfortunately that was the end of that for Adam in terms of him being involved for a fight for the win, at least anyway. Didn't see him again for the rest of the race. But then yeah, next few laps, well, next 10 laps were a bit of a bore fest to be honest. I was basically sitting behind Diman and just using his slipstream to save fuel. So you can see we've got 4.5 laps left of a tank. We've got 27% fuel left, and we are on lap 12 out of 28. So this race very much a one stop, very much a fuel saving one stop. I admit I've probably fuel saved a bit too much at this point. I didn't quite mean to fuel save this much, as Jake Beatty pulls into the pits with only 5% of a tank of fuel, whilst we on the other hand have 26% of a tank. So yeah, got quite a lot of fuel at this point, probably a little bit too much. And well, moving ahead to the next lap, we've got more drivers pulling into the pit as Apex Magnet pulls into the pit lane with 2% of a tank left, and we, as you can see down there, have 19% still left, whereas we are, well, near enough halfway through the race. And well, we ended up managing to go to lap 16 out of 28, the end of lap 16 on that tank of fuel. Still had 1% left. So yeah, went too long to be honest on this first stint. Like I say, I don't think I should have gone this long. I fuel saved too much. I probably should have gone flat out at the start and tried keeping up with Dimitar Penkov, who yeah, was in the net lead at this point in time. So how much fuel are we going to put into the car then? I had no idea, to be honest, how long a tank of fuel lasted going flat out. I hadn't tested it, so I just filled the tank. I just filled the tank. I'm like, that should last. Hopefully it will. I'll keep track of it as I go on, but I'll go flat out for a while and just yeah, see if that tank of fuel lasts. So we're down in 9th place now, as a lot of drivers have done the undercut on us. But like I say, we are going to be going flat out now for the rest of this stint as we look up the inside of Martin Jekov into turn 3. Don't quite make the move stick, but we managed to go round his outside out of turn 4 then. We're now in the inside for turn 5, on the outside for turn 6. Are we going to get the move done into Dunlop? We are side by side through the S's here. We are going through Dunlop curve now, and we do finally manage to make the move stick, as I put my hazards on there kind of to apologise to Martin, I didn't really mean to go for those moves then, and we did lose each other time. So yeah, apologies for that, Martin. A bit too much battling there from myself. Probably should have just sat behind you and gone for the move into the hairpin that's coming up now. But yeah, like I say, now we are trying to do, well, we're trying to make the overcut work basically. So yeah, we've had a number of drivers undercut us, but like I say, we're going flat out now to the end of the race. We've got brand new super softs on, so we should be flying back through the pack now. As we move ahead half a lap, we're now behind John, so we're in P8, we've got John right in front of us. Are we going to be able to go for a move in any of these next few corners? We're on a personal best lap at this point. We're more than a quarter of a second up on our PB, and I think John may have got a poor exit out of the Dunlop curve here as we go up his inside into Degner 1, and John thankfully backs out of the move there. Yeah, I think he may have been fuel saving, because yeah, I got an almighty run on him coming out of the Dunlop curve there, and yeah, absolutely sent it up his inside into Degner 1. So now up into P7. Like I say, we're on a very fast lap here. We're smashing our personal best lap time on course for a 1:58. Now we've got Diman Ivanov in front. Diman went to lap 14 himself. He's the guy who I was behind all the way throughout the first half of the race when I was fuel saving. So yeah, he went to lap 14. I went to lap 16. He is fuel saving a little bit now as we do catch him up somewhat. We've just reeled him in by about 3/10 over the course of those few corners. Getting a good exit now out of the spoon curve on the way down to 130R. Are we going to be able to get into his slipstream? So yeah, in GT Sport the slipstream is vital. It's not particularly realistic, to be honest, and it works from quite far back. As soon as you get within 3/4 of a second of someone, you get a huge speed boost down the straights. So now coming out of the corner, are we going to be within 3/4 of a second? Yes, we are. So getting pulled along now by Diman, coming across the line. What's the lap time going to be? So 1:58.9, so not too bad a lap there. And yeah, reeling him in now. Are we going to make a move into the first corner? It would be very audacious of us if we were to do so. So no, quite rightly, do not. We hold back and follow Diman through these S's here. So yeah, very tricky section of corners, these S's. If you get one bit wrong, I find you get the whole of it wrong. It's yeah, very tricky. Got to get a good flow through here, and yeah, got to hit all your apexes, got to hit your curbs. Dabbing the brakes here for turn 6, using the curb just to pull you round. Then into the Dunlop curve. We're up on our personal best again. Coming out of Dunlop, going down to Degner 1. Are we going to be able to go for a move? Probably not, to be honest. I don't think Diman was fuel saving half as much as John was. What is our split time going to be then as we come to the end of Sector 2? Are we going to be able to get the fastest lap on the race on this lap? We are nearly a quarter of a second up on our PB. Probably isn't going to be enough though to take the fastest lap of the race, since Adam is 2/3 of a second quicker than us with his PB. So yeah, get a good exit now out of this hairpin. We're very much in Diman's slipstream. Got a run on him now, going down to spoon. Diman goes defensive, so I'm going to the right. Now, are we going to be able to hold it round the outside through spoon? It's going to be a very audacious overtaking attempt as we run wide, clip the grass on entry. Yeah, that was rather ambitious of us, but now we've got a good run out of spoon. We're back into his slipstream on the run down to 130R. We're now going to the left. To be honest, I think Diman at this point accepted that, yeah, I was coming past. I was on a charge. I was, yeah, going to get past, well, at all costs pretty much. So, yeah, make the move step then into 130R. Just put my hazards on there just to say thanks, basically, for not fighting too much. Adam Hill now is in the pit lane, pitting out at 3rd place. He was doing the 2-stop. Yeah, I don't think the 2-stop was really the correct strategy to do. I think it was very much the 1-stop. The fuel lasted too long really for the 2-stop to be a viable option. And as we move ahead now by a lap, we've got 2 more cars in front of us who are actually doing the 2-stop. So you've got Jake and you've got Scott ahead, both pulling into the pit lane with 2% of a tank remaining. So you've got 7 laps to go now. We're up into P2, got, like I say, 2 cars moving off into the pit lane. We've got Diman right behind us, but I'd like to think I've got the pace to keep ahead of him, to pull away as we are on a charge. And well, that was about it pretty much for all of the action in the race. But with a couple of laps to go, Dimitar in front decided to make things exciting. He decided to make for an exciting finish by, well, as you can see, needlessly pitting. Still had 16% of a tank left. Had plenty of fuel to get to the end of the race, but he decided to pit 4 new tyres so that he could then go for the fastest lap of the race. So as he exits the pit lane here, he's only just in front of us as he goes into the first corner. He's only what, a second ahead, and yeah, he was in a voice chat with Diman at this point, and yeah, Diman told him to pit to go for the fastest lap. And as we come out of the final corner on this final lap, we've got Dimitar comes across the line, just about takes the fastest lap of the race as we come home in P2, 3.7 seconds behind Dimitar. Yeah, Dimitar was flying on those last couple of laps, so yeah, we were never going to beat him, to be honest. He had brand new super softs on and an empty tank of fuel, so yeah, he takes the win. Brilliant drive there by Dimitar. I went too slow, to be honest, in that first stint. I should have, I should have gone flat out in that first stint and tried keeping up with him. Yeah, I couldn't regain the time that I lost in that first stint. But as we bring up the championship standings here, the point system in MRL at this point, it didn't really work properly. It wasn't set up correctly. So yeah, I'm in second place in the championship at the moment, having done 2 rounds. First round I did was at Monza, but we're going to kind of ignore that one because I didn't really do it properly and I just sort of messed about, and yeah, ignore that one. Suzuka was the first round that I actually did properly, so yeah, in second place in the championship right now. Dimitar, that was his first race in the series. He's in the lead of the championship kind of by default right now, to be honest. At this point in time in MRL, we were using an average point system basically, and then your best 8 rounds counted at the end of the season. But yeah, fortunately we've changed that for the upcoming season. And well, talking about the upcoming season, it starts this Monday, so if anybody's interested in joining MRL, now is the time to do so before season 2 begins. So like I say, down in the description is a link to the Facebook page, so if anybody does want to join, please do feel free. Open to all ability levels MRL. We've got 5 different lobbies based on ability levels, so starting with the diamond lobby at the top, and then we've got gold, red, green, and blue and green lobbies. So anybody is welcome to join. If you guys did enjoy watching that video, then please do feel free to like and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed your introduction to MRL. Next round is Tsukuba, so not a normal circuit to do Group 3 racing round, to be honest. It's yeah, not an ordinary track, but I can tell you now, it makes for an interesting race. So I hope you're looking forward to that video. Should be going up tomorrow, so I will see you guys next time.